This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Welcome in, everyone, to Lively Lewis Stories.
That's right. We're back with even more awesome adventures with Levi and Ivy.
Set your storytime meter to fun and get ready to join the Lively Lewis crew.
All you need is your imagination and...
Off we go! I can't wait to see where our story takes us today.
Have you ever wanted to get more Lively Lewis in your life?
Well, we've got you covered.
Grab an adult and zoom over to livelylewisshop.com.
Or just click on the link in our show notes.
Enough about that. Let's get to today's super Lively Lewis story.
The story you're about to enjoy was inspired by Anila. Thank you so much for your amazing idea. And if I pronounced your name wrong, I'm so sorry. Did you see how many squishy fidgets Jonathan had at school today? Levi asked his sister as they were walking home. I know. I need to get some more and some new keychains for my backpack, said Ivy. And did you see the cool markers Kristen had in art class? There must have been 100 of them in every color you could imagine. And the conversation went on like that as Levi and Ivy's walk home continued. They talked about wanting more toys, more treats, more fidgets, more art supplies, more video games, and on and on and on. Levi and Ivy had been very focused lately on having as many things as they could. They truly felt that more was better, and they could never have enough of the things they loved. However, this was causing their house to become very cluttered, filled with all the things they'd been buying. Those things would get played with for a little while, then set aside as something new was put in front of them. It was all getting a little out of hand. Once Levi and Ivy got home, they went right to their mom to see about getting some of the things they had been talking about. Mom, can you bring Ivy and I to the store? Asked Levi. Why? What could you possibly need? Asked Levi and Ivy's mom. You've asked to go to the store every day after school this week. Buying stuff is more fun. Plus, I really need some new keychains, said Ivy as she plopped her backpack on the ground. More keychains? How could you possibly fit another one on your backpack? Ivy's mom asked. You can't even see the special keychain anymore that we picked out together on our beach vacation last year. You loved that keychain. I still do, and it's on here somewhere. But you know what they say, the more the merrier, answered Ivy with a smile. And what I want more of are some new video games and some cool squishy fidgets, said Levi. Last time I counted, I only had 15 of them, and they're getting kind of old. Getting old? You love those dragon and dino squishies. You play with them every day, said Levi's mom, sounding very surprised at her kids' behavior. They're still perfectly good. Why do you need more? Because I like stuff, Mom. More things equal more fun, said Levi with a smile. And on Levi and Ivy went until their mom couldn't take it anymore. I think you both have had quite enough, and frankly, I'm really surprised at how greedy you're both being, she said, sitting Levi and Ivy down. Speedy? Giggled Ivy. We don't have to run right out this second, but I would like to go to the store before dinner. No, Ivy, I think she said 3D, replied Levi. Thank you for reminding me, Mom. There's a cool 3D VR headset that I wanted to see if we could get. It's so cool. No, you two, I didn't say 3D or speedy. I said greedy, replied Levi and Ivy's mom. Her kids looked at her a bit confused and shrugged their shoulders, not knowing what she was talking about. Greedy is what you're being right now, she went on to explain. Greedy means wanting way more of something, like toys and candy, than you actually need or deserve. When you're acting in a greedy way, you often do it without sharing or thinking about others. Do you understand? I guess so, but I still want all of those things. And if I pay for some of them with my birthday money, it's no big deal, said Levi. I mean, it's my money. But honey, you already have so many of the things you're asking for. Why not save your money? You could spend it on a fun experience or to buy something you don't have, or maybe you could use your money to do something nice for someone else, explained Levi's mom. Doesn't that sound like a better use of your money? Not really, answered Ivy as Levi started to look at his tablet for a place in town that sold the 3D VR headset he wanted. This is a problem. I won't let you two be greedy and spend all your money on things you already have just because you want more, said Levi and Ivy's mom. I mean, when will it stop? When will it be enough? I guess I'm not sure, but it would be fun to play with all those new toys while we're figuring it out, laughed Levi. And maybe get some new sweet treats, too. Ivy laughed along as she counted the keychains on her bag. And while we're at the store, don't let me forget to pick up a big pack of markers, too, she said. You mean like these? Said Ivy's mom, holding up a pack of brand new markers. This is what I mean. You already have a perfectly good pack of markers right here. Those are good, but the pack I have isn't the big pack. I need more colors, said Ivy as she got it from the table. Okay, I really don't like what's going on here, and we're not going out to buy any more things tonight, said Levi and Ivy's mom. Instead, I suggest you both think about saving your money, being grateful for what you have, and maybe donating some of the things you no longer need to others. Levi and Ivy were a little disappointed by what their mom had said. But since they couldn't drive themselves to the store, they decided to each make a big list of all the things they would buy if they could. They worked on their lists until they went to bed, adding more and more and more. Good night, Levi and Ivy, said their mom before sending them to bed. Let's remember, there are many, many other things to be besides greedy. Hopefully you'll see things differently in the morning. Okay, Mom. We get it, said Levi with a yawn. Yep, we should be happy with what we have. Oh, added Ivy as she jumped into bed. But I know I'd be happier if I had a few more things. Good night, Levi and Ivy called to each other as their mom walked down the hallway. Maybe you two just need to sleep on it tonight, said their mom as she started down the stairs. Maybe a little rest will get that little greedy Gus out of your heads. Maybe a little rest will get that little greedy Gus out of your heads. Levi and Ivy heard their mom as they began to drift off to sleep, her words swirling in their heads, especially the name, Greedy Gus. At first, the thought of a greedy creature running around collecting more and more and more of things made them giggle as they settled into their beds. But by the morning, they would have a very different view of that greedy little guy. As Levi and Ivy fell asleep, they had no idea what was in store for them. But soon, they met up with each other in their shared dream, and everything became clear. Levi, is that you? Called out Ivy as she walked toward her brother. I thought that was you, Ivy, answered Levi. Once they realized they were sharing the same dream, they quickly looked around to see where they were, but they couldn't quite figure it out. It didn't look like any place they had ever been before. It was wide open and very bright, the perfect place for storing lots and lots of things. Do you have any idea where we are or why we're here together? Asked Levi. Not a clue, said Ivy as she looked around. Then all of a sudden she saw something. It was her wish list. And Levi's, just sitting on the ground in front of them. Do you think this place has something to do with us asking Mom to go shopping for all those new toys and treats? Asked Ivy. Levi nodded his head and picked up their list. Since this is a dream, we can do anything we want, right? Asked Levi. So how about we get a few of the things we want from our lists? Ivy's eyes got wide and a smile spread across her face. That sounded like a great idea to her. Then on the count of 3, they each called out for the first few things on their list and waited. Seconds passed and there was a bright flash of light that surrounded them. When the light had faded, they each saw something. My keychains! My markers! Called out Ivy, grabbing her things. My 3D VR set! My favorite candy! Exclaimed Levi, grabbing each of them. This is amazing! Levi played with his 3D VR set while enjoying his candy. Ivy organized her keychains and drew with her markers. They were having a great time. But could it be better? Levi and Ivy suddenly both stopped thinking the same thing. Why not wish for a few more things? Or maybe why not wish for everything on their lists? So that's what they did. They each made another wish, then another, and another. This was the best dream ever. Bright lights flashed all around them as one by one, everything they wished for was given to them until their lists were both empty. At that moment, it was amazing. It was everything they could have hoped for. All Levi and Ivy had to do was say something they wanted out loud and poof, it was theirs. But as the wishes went on, something changed. When this wonderful wish-filled adventure first started, Levi and Ivy each played with the toys they got and enjoyed all their snacks. However, as the wishes went on, they found the things they received less and less impressive. Yes, it was fun to see something new, but since there was so much of everything, they really couldn't appreciate what they had. "I'm kind of getting bored," said Levi. "Me too," answered Ivy, looking around at all the things she had wished for. And that's when something unusual happened. Yes, even more unusual than the situation they were already in. In that moment, out of all the toys and snacks popped a little creature. They would come to find out that he was none other than Greedy Gus. He was no bigger than a football and danced around in a bright green suit with spiky hair and bright blue eyes. "Hello, Levi and Ivy," said the little creature as he hopped amongst all the things they had wished for. "Nice haul!" Levi and Ivy didn't know how to react, but they had to admit he was interesting, and they wanted to know why he was there. "I bet you're wondering why I'm here," said Greedy Gus. "I'm here to get you anything you want." Levi and Ivy sighed. They already had everything they wanted. Or so they thought. "We really don't need anything else," said Levi. "In fact, I think we have too much." "What? Impossible!" exclaimed Greedy Gus. "You can never have too much." Surprised and a bit curious, Levi and Ivy leaned in to hear what the little creature had to say. "Maybe he has a point," Levi whispered to Ivy as she nodded her head in agreement. Greedy Gus then went on to tell Levi and Ivy that there was always more they could have, even if they thought they had enough. More toys, more treats, more everything. Then Greedy Gus began to make more and more things appear in front of Levi and Ivy. Things that weren't even on their wish list, but things they very much liked. One after another, toys and snacks appeared out of thin air. Levi and Ivy once again enjoyed the items they were given because they were shiny and new. But as the time went on, they again became less and less interested in each new thing. "I've seen this toy before," said Levi. "I had 10 of those marshmallow candies already," Ivy added. "I'm just not happy anymore with all of this stuff," they both said together. Greedy Gus couldn't believe what he was hearing, so he added more and more to their piles until finally they had enough. "Gus, stop!" Levi and Ivy shouted. "This is just too much. Nothing is fun or exciting anymore," Levi went on to say. "Having all these things is just so distracting. We can't concentrate on enjoying any of it. This is getting overwhelming, and it doesn't really make sense to me anymore," said Ivy. "Why would I want 20 of the same thing? One is more than enough." "She's right. The more things I get, the less I'm interested in them," added Levi. "When you have too much of something, it loses that magic that made you love it in the first place. Things lose their wonder and excitement when you have so many of them. And you know you can get more whenever you want." "I can't believe I'm hearing this," said Greedy Gus with a look of panic on his face. "How about some more of this and some more of that?" Greedy Gus swirled and whirled around Levi and Ivy, trying to show them that more was better, but it was too late. They had both finally learned their lesson. Being greedy was no way to be. Instead, appreciating, treasuring, and enjoying the things you have was so much better than replacing them with newer things all the time. And as for snacks and treats, Levi and Ivy noticed that they stopped tasting as sweet and tasty when there was pretty much an endless supply of them. Having a special treat once in a while is what makes it a special treat. "I think it's time we go back home," said Levi. "I totally agree," replied Ivy as she and Levi turned to leave. Greedy Gus couldn't keep them there anymore. That was because Levi and Ivy had finally discovered for themselves that being greedy was something they didn't want to be. "Fine, go. More for me then," called out Greedy Gus as he jumped into the piles of toys and snacks and vanished from sight. Just then, Levi and Ivy heard their mom calling their names. They each woke up, jumped out of bed, and ran into the hallway. "Can you believe that dream?" Levi asked. "Unbelievable," said Ivy. "I'm just happy we got to see the downside of being greedy before we got like Gus." Then Levi and Ivy ran downstairs to see their mom. They told her all about their dream and how being greedy wasn't for them. She couldn't have been happier. And then instead of asking for more and more, they decided to give back. So after school that day, Levi and Ivy spent their afternoon going through all of their toys, art supplies, and games. They donated things they no longer needed, and in doing so, rediscovered some special things they really loved. Those things had gotten put aside or lost when they were being like Greedy Gus and buying more things than they needed. They quickly realized how lucky they were to have the things they had, and also that donating to others made them feel great. Their greedy feelings were gone for good. And so was Greedy Gus. In their unusual and incredible dream, Levi and Ivy learned that what they had was more than enough. And the only thing they wanted more and more and more of was fun, memories, and great experiences with their family and friends. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the story and learned a little something too.
And since we know everyone has their own story, we'd love to hear yours.
If you have an idea for a Lively Lewis story, leave a comment on our Apple Podcast review page with 5 stars, your idea, and your little one's name.
Then maybe our next adventure will be with you.
Until our next Storytime Hangout.
Thanks for listening. We can't wait to share another fun Lively Lewis story with you.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.